Hi, and welcome everyone to this video on the tutorial Keptn in a box. Today, I'm really excited to have Sergio here. Hi, Sergio. How are you doing today?
Hi, Jürgen. I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me. How are
really
you
great
doing?
to have you here. I'm really excited to see what you have built with Keptn in the box. It's let's say a one-line installation of Keptn plus example projects plus Dynatrace integration. Everything is running on one VM. You don't need to bring your own Kubernetes cluster. Everything is provided by your tutorial Keptn in the box. So I will give you your screen a little bit more real estate here, and I'm really excited to see what you have built and how you can use it. So the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Jürgen. Exactly. So Keptn in the box is basically a bash script, right? That will enable you to start your journey to the autonomous cloud really, really easy. Right. So if you go to tutorials.keptn.sh, here you will see the tutorial. And this tutorial is basically just the explanation, right, or what the script does. And we're going to do this together, right? So before I start explaining, let's just save some time and be efficient. So I have already an Ubuntu machine prepared, and I'm going to just kick off the installation, right? So in here, I have Keptn in a box. And I have here already how to start it. And I'm going to send the script. So now I kicked off the installation. All right. And I'm going to explain what is the script doing. So we use the time efficiently. So Keptn in a box is just a bash script. For this, let me just actually use a slide that I prepared for you.
And by the way, the link to the tutorial is in the video description below. So everything that we are going to see here from Sergio, you can follow on your own machine or in the cloud by just following the tutorials.
Exactly. So here are also the links of the project where you find all the source files, and of the tutorial, which link you to the source files, right? So this is just a bash script that is programmed in a modular fashion, meaning you can select what you need. If you have want to do a workshop in your company or with your friends or do a code session, you can select only what you need, right? Depending, the more you need, the bigger the machine is gonna have to be, right? Why? Because you're gonna have in a single machine, we're gonna install Docker, so you can have your own registry, you can push your own images. We're gonna use micro Kubernetes. The latest version, 0.8.1, we're using 1.19, Kubernetes 1.19, which is right now the most common production version. It's going to install kubectl, so you can, if you log to the machine, you start typing kubectl, and it's already bound to micro Kubernetes. You're going to have the latest Istio 1.9, Helm, Jenkins, Gaetia. Git is your own Git server, so you can see, because Keptn uses GitOps approach. So you can see all the repositories that is using Keptn for your projects, right? So you can analyze the shipyard file, the SLI, the SLO configuration, and all that, which enables you to learn faster. It's going to have your own repository. I don't think we have a tutorial for building own images, but if you have your own image, you don't need another repository. You can use the single machine and push your own images, and you can use Helm charts and have your own contained DevOps environment, right? So we're going to use an Nginx ingress, meaning you don't need a load balancer IP, right? Just using the single IP of the machine. This can be the local interface, or if you have a public IP, which is better, we're going to expose everything with a magic domain with NIP.io, right? And if you have a Dynatrace, I recommend you to try it with Dynatrace. Go to Dynatrace trial, and you can get the installation with the full stack agent and Kubernetes monitoring, meaning you're going to get monitoring of Kubernetes and the namespaces, events, and all that, right? In a more technical way, this is actually, I can explain this at the end, right? But this is basically what Keptn in a box is. So let's just go into the tutorial, right? First, you're going to need your Ubuntu box. Right. What we test is 18 and 20, the versions, the long-term support. here are some links that you can create a cloud account, so you can have a free tier. If you don't want to have a cloud instance, you can also use Multipass. Multipass is a project of Ubuntu that allows you to have locally virtual machines in Ubuntu. The sizing depends highly on how much components you want to install, right? So what I just literally just did right now, I was already inside an Ubuntu machine. I download the shell file, right? And I made it executable. So inside the shell file, you have a couple of configurations that you can have. You don't have to, you can just run it the way it is, but I modify a little bit. What did I modify? I entered the Dynatrace API token and the pass token. Here you can see how you can get the steps so you can get your token. I didn't configure the domain because the machine by default, if the domain variable is empty, is gonna make a curl to ifconfig me, meaning if you have a public IP, it's gonna expose all the services with the public IP using nip.io, which is a magic domain, meaning it's gonna resolve always to the IP you're giving, that it allows you to have with subdomains all the services that you want, right? The cards, the Keptn, Kubernetes API, Kubernetes dashboard, whatever you deploy in there, you can use with only one IP, right? For example, in these examples, you can see we're exposing a machine in a home Wi-Fi, right? So you have the option to create a workshop user where you can specify the user and password, which allows you to create machines for your colleagues and say, hey, Jürgen, this is your machine with your user, Jürgen, and the password, Jürgen123, right? Which will configure it so you can access it via SSH. And when you're going to access this machine, he's going to be able to use kubectl, Keptn CLI, and everything that we're installing in there, right? So everything is already configured, so he can just get in there and start typing and deploying applications, right? So the installation bundle, Keptn is programmed in a modular way. So these are like the modules or control flags, which are defined in each module. So you don't, meaning if Docker install equals true, we're going to install Docker. If micro Kubernetes equals true, we're going to install it, right? And the bundle is a set of configurations, right? So you can configure it as you want. You can say, okay, I do want to have this, or you can enhance it. If you modify the function shell file, you can add more modules or more stuff that you can configure, right? And yeah, and pretty much that's it. Right now, what I did, I modified the shell script with bundle all because I want to show all the modules deployed in a machine, right? I'm going to need a bigger machine. I'm using a 2x large, I believe, in AWS. So I can have enough power to have a cert manager, Gaitia, Dynatrace monitoring, Keptn with the execution plane and the control plane, Kubernetes API. By the way, you need to be careful also if you want to patch the Kubernetes dashboard, which means we're modifying the Kubernetes dashboard that is exposed so you can access it without credentials, right? So it's really easy for you to start learning Kubernetes, but you need to be aware that if we patch it, it's accessible to everyone, right? So you can also start killing pods or deploying stuff that you don't really want, right? Yeah, and the same with the Keptn bridge. We disable the login. Actually, I see I need to put a flag in here. Also, for you to learn faster, right? So you don't have to type the user and password, so you can access Keptn bridge easily, right? And that's it. So before I started the explanation, this is what I run.
Just one comment from my side here. So the best is to just use an installation bundle, not to go through all the different options and flags, but to select one installation bundle. So in this case, we used the full
Exactly.
or all the installation bundle, all where we want to have everything, but all the bundles are described just a little bit below. Over this table. So on top of this table, we have all the installation bundles, and it's best to just choose one bundle and then do the installation via the bundles.
Exactly. By the way, in step number 12, I have advanced features where I show how to, after you have installed Keptn in a box, how you can restore it, like delete everything, say that, okay, I broke it. How can you reinstall it again? Or how can you install specific features, right? Because you can load the shell file and run the functions separately, right? So, yeah, and for that, I'm going to explain a little bit later. Let's just take a look how the installation is going. But yeah, Jürgen, you're right. So you see here the different bundles. So you can say, okay, in demo, what is in the bundle demo? And you can see what functions are in there. What is in the workshop, Keptn only, meaning without execution plane, right? Or only the quality gates. So it's really up to you. So let's just see how is the installation going. We see it's running on the background. This is a way for you to be efficient. You can always, if you do less plus F, the install log, you can see the actual status, right? So it's a process that you're sending in the background. You can do your stuff in the machine and then take a look at it, because sometimes it takes a bit of time, especially updating Ubuntu. Right? So you can see here it's updating Ubuntu. And, it's still updating Ubuntu. Okay, not a problem. We can take a look on another machine, which we prepared a bit before. So let's take a look at this one.
So I know that sometimes it takes up to 10 minutes for the whole package to be installed. I already did it a couple of times myself, and Sergio already prepared for us for this video, kind of another machine where we can skip the installation procedure. It's running in the background of the other machine, but just for the demo purpose, we are now switching to the machine that we just created actually like 1 hour ago for us to be able to skip this part and the waiting part. And we can see it here, it took 7 minutes, only 7 minutes.
This one took 7 minutes and 24 seconds, right? And we can, at the very bottom, at the end of the installation, we print the credentials. So you can take a look, and also the usage, how much space you're using, the disk available, right? So at the very beginning, also the flags are going to be there. So if you have any issue, you can always talk to us and say, hey, I have an issue. And with the log file, we can see exactly which step and what was the configuration you triggered, so we know if something went wrong. Also, you need to be aware if you have a public IP or some credentials in there that you're putting, don't upload it to Slack. Just let us know, and you can send us a private email so we can, so your credentials are not exposed, right? So at the very bottom, you see, for example, here, all the services, these are ingresses, right? The ingresses that are exposed, and we have Keptn, we have Gaitia, we have a home page, right? Jenkins, API, Kubernetes, the cards application on Unleash, right? We have the credentials for Unleash because there is a tutorial, the Keptn full tour. So actually we're deploying the full tour automatically, right? So let me just show you really quick what I mean. So if I get out of this tutorial, here is the Keptn full tour on Dynatrace. So the script is actually going all the way to step 26, I believe. No, this is also done. So before the load generation, right? So the workshop or the demo deploys all the way to step 26 without this load generation, right? So you can just run the experiment and do this. You only need to do one step, right? So let's just go back. Step number 10, we're showing how to access the services, right? So here are all the services. Something you need to know is if I type kubectl now, it's not going to show me, it's letting me know, hey, you don't have enough insufficient permissions. Why? because this is gonna be installed. I mean, in the same session that I don't have the permission, so I need to create another session. I can exit the machine and get inside the machine, or create a new shell, right? So, so I'm logging as Ubuntu. Okay, now kubectl get all. Now I have all the services. You see? So don't worry if after the installation you have the same shell and you try to type kubectl, it's not going to work. The same with Keptn. I can type Keptn, and now it's authenticated, right? And I say Keptn version, and it's showing me the version, right? Because now it's already authenticated with the server, so everything is already there for you. The same as Docker. I can type Docker, and I can start already building my images and pushing them to Keptn or to the registry or all that. Right.
Can we try to do a Keptn get project to just see if there are already some projects?
Yes.
Oh, here we go. Really cool.
Exactly.
I know that you also have a kind of a homepage that will list everything that is installed. So maybe we can take a look at this homepage, because that will be the starting point. Once you have installed Keptn in the box, the homepage is your starting point with all the links, and it's always the landing page.
Exactly. So what I did just now, I typed kubectl get ingress all. So I have all the ingress of the namespaces, of all the namespaces. I'm sorry, and I want to copy this, the homepage ingress, because this will be the starting point, right, for Keptn in a box. So let's just put this, and there we have it, right? This is the machine. We have here some links, and these links are done with JavaScript. So depending on the domain, they're gonna adapt automatically, right? So I have the Kubernetes dashboard exposed, right? So I can click here on skip, and boom, I have already all the pods, all the namespaces. So I can start learning also Kubernetes. I'm new to Kubernetes, right? To understand, okay, what is a daemon set? What is a deployment? What kind of jobs? Stuff like that. So we have the Kubernetes API also exposed, right? So you can start communicating with the API. If you can manage different machines, and you modify the kubeconfig file, so you can also do remotely stuff. The Keptn is also exposed. So the Keptn bridge, as you see, I don't have credentials because this is a workshop machine. So in here, I see the two projects. We have Sockshop and Unleashed. As said before, this is coupled with the tutorial, the full tour, right? So if I go into the Sockshop, I have developing, staging, production, and I can see it's already done the 3 stages, right?
It looks good, yeah. So yeah, we do have 2 services, the cards and the Mongo image. Both of them are already deployed and delivered. There was a quality gates executed in staging. So really cool.
And the SLIs and everything is here configured, right? So you can go into the services, right? So also nice to know is that these services are exposed, so you can actually interact with the services. In here, there's a link called Delivery Pipeline Overview. So if I click in here, it's nothing else than an HTML with iframes. So we have cards in development, in staging, and in production, right? So we have the 3 different stages, right? And you can also access each one of them singular, like development, and you can see this is the URL with our magic domain, right?
Really cool. And can we also take a look on the Git repository? Because I think there's also everything connected to Git here.
Connected to the Git repository. Exactly. So Git is deployed with the subdomain Git, right? So if you click on the link, maybe I click too fast. Here on the repositories, it has an API, so you can manage repository with the API, and it has also a UI. So in the UI, we see the Sockshop and Unleashed. So if I click on the Sockshop, Keptn uses branches for the stages, right? So we have here the master, then we have production, staging, and dev, right? So if I go, for example, to dev, I'm going to see the resources and the services that we have onboarded, right? The cards and the cards DB, and the files inside the YAML file, the JMeter file with the basis check and the Helm chart, right? So it's really good because you can, yeah.
So sorry, I just want to highlight here that you see everything has been created just a couple of minutes ago. So this is the fresh installation that Sergio started just before we started the recording to have kind of a backup machine to save some time in this recording. Everything was created. So when you execute the Keptn in a box bash script that we showed in the beginning of this video, this is what you will get out of the box. There was no manual intervention needed. This is what you already get, and you can start playing and start learning with Keptn. And that's the really cool part. You don't have to follow the tutorial. You can still follow the tutorial, the full tour on Dynatrace, and it will give you all the steps, and every step has been already executed automatically in this Keptn in a box. And this is why I really love it, because it's so fast to spin up and show it to someone and experiment with Keptn and to learn Keptn. That's really
cool. Exactly. And let's say, for example, now you want to, because everything is in the machine. So, well, first, now that I'm in Git, I can sign in here, and the credentials are, again, we put them on the shell file, right? So, so in here, for example, you see the workshop user we created, so I can actually access with SSH with this user and password that you can modify. And as well, the Git server access. Here is the username and the password, so you can manually create more projects and onboard them, stuff like that. The same, there is also a Jenkins server for another session where we can show how easy it is to expand and enhance pipelines, right? The credentials for Unleash, and yeah, and the services. What I wanted to show as well is in here you can see that the repository was cloned. So we have the examples repository of the Keptn tutorials, and we have the Keptn in a box also repository that was cloned, because in here there are some function that allows you, for example, if I go to resources and I go to demo, right, you're gonna see deploy card 0, 1, 2, because that can actually even be automated. Let's say we want to deploy cards number 2. There's nothing else that's just calling the Keptn trigger delivery, right? So I can actually just call this file or manually, and now I'm sending version 2. That's it, as easy as that. I already onboarded one, and it went through all the stages, right? So if I go to the machine, right, and this is the pipeline, in here, version 2 is gonna come, right? Let's take a look at the bridge, and we should see that we have a new event. There it is.
Already coming in.
Triggered already the delivery, right? So let me just make this a bit bigger. Yeah. So it really enables you to start your journey and do the tutorials.
Cool. I think it's really a great tutorial, the Keptn in the box. You can get started so fast with this integration. We've seen how you can get started, how to install it, what it will give you, how to configure it. There are different installation bundles. There is even a troubleshooting guide that Sergio mentioned if something goes wrong. But actually, I already did it a couple of times now. We even used it for workshops already, and it always worked like a charm. So it's a really great thing to use and to give it a try. Thanks also for putting here the Slack for Keptn. So if you have any questions, please find us in the Keptn Slack.
Yes.
I think this was a great episode to show our community how to use Keptn and how to get started really fast with Keptn in a box that already brings you all the demo experience that we are providing in the other tutorials.
Exactly. How much do I have? 2 minutes?
Sure.
Perfect. So guys, if you face an issue, again, reach us on Slack. We're more than glad to help you. There are some scripts here that allows you to see, hey, do I have a problem or not? So doing like this helps you to find, do I have an error in the log, right? Also, if you're learning, then the best way is to deploy stuff and break stuff. So if you break the machine, not a problem. You can here have some functions so you can restart micro Kubernetes, delete micro Kubernetes and start all over again. For that, we recommend doing a snap remove. So you purge everything and you start over again, right? And there are some advanced features. In Bash means load the functions in the shell, right? So when you load the functions in the shell, then you can start calling them manually, right? So in here, we're calling installation bundle all, for example. Or if you want to, let's say you want to deploy Jenkins, you call source function and installation bundle all, meaning you're this means we're setting all the control flags to true, right? Because when you call a function, inside this function is like, if Jenkins equals true, do it, right? So we're loading function and setting everything to true. So now we can call functions. And in here, we can deploy Jenkins manually, or enable Kubernetes dashboard, or the own Git server, right? Or create another workshop account, a workshop account or another, meaning you want to use the machine and add more users. This script is going to create a home directory and load Keptn and kubectl, so you can have multiple users, right? And that's it.
Cool. So I see there is much more than what we've showed in this video. Maybe we can do a follow-up video on this, but I would really encourage everyone to give it a try. Tutorials.keptn.sh. You will find everything. And afterwards, when you experimented with Keptn in the box and you learned how to use Keptn, then you can just go to keptn.sh, fetch the CLI and install it on a full Kubernetes cluster to maybe use Keptn in your organizations or for your projects. So thanks, Sergio, for joining today. It was really a pleasure to have you here and to learn how Keptn in the box works and how to use it. And yeah, happy Keptning and shipping applications.
Thank you, Jürgen, for having me. Thank you, guys. We had a lot of
everyone.
fun and a lot of learning. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mhm.